Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. Just trying to get settings on my computer all situated here. Making sure I have this set. Oh my goodness. Okay. If you are here watching me live, go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. My name is Tina Bickford. I am the Tatted Stamper. I am an independent demonstrator located in the US in southern New Hampshire, and I love making handmade cards. And I hope that I inspire you to make your own handmade cards. Good morning, Louise and Sandra. Warm and humid in Oklahoma. It's going to be, we're going to have like at least a 4-day heat wave, so over 90 degrees. So we're in for that with a possible 5th day. I'm not complaining because I like it. So, good morning. All right, so we have good morning, Anne, from my sister state, my upside down New Hampshire. You are in Vermont. Welcome. Welcome. So today, what did we do last week? I don't remember. Oh, we did a card with the paper pumpkin kit. Good morning, Dad. Is Mom watching? Usually Mom says good morning. Morning, Mom. So last week we did an alternate card with one of the paper pumpkins and with the June paper pumpkin. And I finished that one. Finally, I posted all of the pictures of my alternates over in that paper pumpkin Facebook group and also on my Facebook page. So if you're watching and you're not already subscribed to me into my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. In my videos, there's also links in the description of the videos to my Facebook page so that you can go over and follow me on my Facebook page. And it's where I will post all of the alternates when I make cards. So you can follow me over there. Yeah, so I decided, since I was on a roll with paper pumpkin, and I finished the June, that I would dive right into the July paper pumpkin, and I made a bunch of cards so far. I'm not done. I'm far from being done. I'm still working on the paper pumpkin kit with the strawberries. This one for July. I was hoping to have it done before my August kit came. So I have been working with that. I spent some time yesterday playing around with that and making some cards. And if I have time at the end of this video, I'll actually show you some of the cards that I made from that one so far. So today's card is a fun fold card. It's a wiper card, and I have been wanting to make one of these, but they really looked a lot more difficult than what it ended up being. So, so we're going to make them. I have 3 alternates to show you. One of them is the one that I took all of the pictures to do the project sheet. I still have to put the project sheet together, but I have all of the pictures taken and I just need to put all of that together. So good morning, Roberta. Sandra's been in Oklahoma's been in the triple digits. Oh my goodness, before adding the heat index. Oh, you guys must be melting. All right, well, let's start making a card. I'm gonna switch down to the desk camera here. Boom, right here. That out of the way. And I'm going to be using this Charming Day set again. I know I'm seeing a lot of demonstrators use this recently in their videos. It's actually kind of fun. I haven't colored for a while. So I'm going to do some coloring with this one. I'm going to use some of the dyes. I'm also going to be bringing in another bundle that is actually on the last chance list. So let's get to making this card. So first, let me just bring it. This is the bundle I'm going to be using. So let me just get that out of the way. But I want to bring in what the supplies are and tell you I'll tell you what the measurements are, but there'll be a project sheet. So you guys don't have to, worry about writing them down or anything there. So first, I just want to say that this card was inspired by the video that I watched was from Delight of My Art. She made this card look very, very simple. So I have just been building off of her measurements and kind of working with there. So this is part of the card base. This is going to be 5.5 by 5 3/4. And then you need another piece of the same color cardstock. This is Summer Splash. We're working with Summer Splash. So this one here is 5 3/4 by 2.5. And then I needed another piece of that same color. This piece we're going to use for some embossing. This one is 2 3/8 by 4 5/8. And then we need a little piece of the same. This one is 1 3/4. Let me just check that one. 1 3/4 by 5/8. And then for our designer series paper, I'm just using these. This is from the In Color. Good morning, Renee. This is from the same. This is the In Color DSP for the Summer Splash. So this piece is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we have two pieces that is, let me see, these are 5 3/8 by 5/8. We have a piece of basic white for the back. This is just the 4 and I think I did 4 1/4 by 5, or did I do 4 and, all right, I did 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 for that one. And then I have a little piece of window sheet. I know you can't really see that well on camera, but a little piece of window sheet. This measures 1/2 inch by 3 inches. And then I just have a couple pieces of basic white. Now in my project sheet, it will say the basic white that you need is 4 1/4 by 5. It's just, we're going to do some stamping on there, and that 4 1/4 by 5 is big enough to stamp this and this flower on the same piece. So let's get started. All right. I don't even think I wrote these. I don't think I wrote the directions down. So we may doing this, on a wing and a prayer here. All right, grab our paper trimmer. I need a bigger desk. Okay, we're going to grab the paper trimmer. I'm going to move that cutting blade out of the way because we're going to do some scoring. So on the edge that is 5 3/4, we're going to be scoring that at 3/4 and then at 1 1/2. So I'm actually measuring on this side of my trimmer because it goes right to the 1 1/2. So it's nice and easy there. And then we're going to take that piece that is 2 1/2 by 5 3/4, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to score on this one at 3/4 and 1/2. Okay, voila. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some DSP on here. So I'm going to take my large piece of DSP and put it on. So this is going to go on the largest section here. I'm going to use my seal today. And I'm just going to put this And nice even border on all three sides here and to that score line. And then we're going to put this one. Oh, my seal seems to be doing something weird here. It's going off track there. This, we're going to use one piece of the 5/8, and we're going to put that right here on this first 3/4 inch section with an even border from the top and the bottom and between score lines. And the other piece of DSP, we're going to hold off on that one for a moment. And then I am going to use so I'm using my Soft Waves 3D embossing folder. Is this the one I want to use? Sure. So we're just going to emboss. No, I don't really want to use that one. I don't want to use that one. Let's use from the Cheers and Sips suite, the Glass and Gardens embossing folder. Let's use this floral one because we are going to be doing flowers here. So I'm going to put this in. Now I probably should have, oh, where is it? This, all right, when we hold our card, I'm just going to fold these up. So on the score lines, grab my bone folder, on the score lines here, for the first score line here, that's going to fold over to the left. And then this one's going to fold over to the right. I'm just going to burnish those real well. So now you have that, just like that. Good morning, Lisa. This one is going to do the same thing. So we're going to fold this exactly the same way. It's going to only this, our score lines are going to be over here. So we're going to fold it in this way and then back. Okay. Like so. Now for this one, we're going to be adding the embossed panels. So I'm just going to set all of this aside and I'm going to go ahead and emboss this. Now, when this is not a 3D embossing folder. Oh, okay. Okay, Alexa, you don't need to help me. All right, so I'm just going to try to figure out where I want all of that design on my embossing folder. And I'm just going to squeeze that in there, bring in my cut and emboss machine. And to do the embossing folders that are just your standard embossing folders, so not the really thick 3D ones, you need your plate 1 and both of your number 3 cutting plates. So here's one cutting plate, my embossing folder, and my second cutting plate. And then you just roll that through. Nice and easy. And even though it's not a 3D, it's still a really nice raised image. Cute, cute. Okay. All right, so now I am going to grab my paper trimmer again. So this is our 2.5 inch piece. We're holding it this way. This embossed panel is going to go here. I want to cut it down to size. Now, you can also, if you want to, you can also add embossed pieces here as well. How I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, hold please. Let's do this. I'm going to do this. That piece is okay. All right, let's do that. All right. So for this piece right here, these are 3/4 inch sections. So I want to have those just a little smaller than that. So I'm going to start cutting from this side because this is the way that I want my design. So I'm going to start cutting from this side and I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 5/8. I'm just going to bring this up, line that right up with the 5/8 mark. Now, when I'm cutting through cardstock that I have already embossed, I like to just go slow through there. I don't like to go ripping right through there, not in any hurry. So cut that one and that one. Okay. That one didn't cut all the way through, so I am just going to trim very quickly. I don't know if you can you guys hear my husband's outside with the weed whacker or something. Okay, so this is our, move this out of the way. This is our embossed panel now, cut into 5/8, 5/8, and then this is just what's left. So that will measure 3 3/8. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece on the first section. And then the next piece. Yeah, that seal is very sticky stuff. And then this one. Right there. And this piece, I'm going to put closest to this. So it's not going to fit along the whole thing, and you'll see why. So I'm just going to put, so even border, top, bottom, and from this score line here. Like that. Now you could make this a little bit longer before you emboss it, and you could cover the whole edge and modify the next piece of it if that's what you wanted to do. So you could totally do that. Okay. Now let's see. Let's put this. This is going to be our mechanism. So I'm going to just zoom in here. Let me see here. You zoom in and actually see a little bit of what I'm doing here. All right. So this one, we are going to mark this at 5/8 from each side. Let's grab a pencil. Okay, and we're just going to mark that at 5/8, and then kind of the same thing here. And you could do 5/8 in from this way if you wanted to do that. Certainly could. That's 5/8 there. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to score from each mark down to the corners. And I will bring my trimmer in. All right, close my windows so that you don't hear my husband weed whacking out there. Okay, so we're going to just put this on the trimmer, line up that mark and that corner. I am going to use Rachel Tessman's handy dandy trick for holding this, because it's not big enough for me to put the track down. So I'm just using the Post-it, put it in place to hold it. And then the Post-it actually holds it in place for me. So score that. And then we're going to do the same thing. Move this Post-it over here. Put this in, so this mark here and the corner. Post it down and like so. Voila. Okay. Let me zoom back out. Okay, Renee, you have to get ready for church. Yes, that's okay. That you need to go to church. This is the good thing about videos is you can always watch them anytime. So, and have a good day at church. Have a good time at church. So, we're going to fold these down like this, and you can see because this piece is 5/8 inch wide. When we marked over to the 5/8 and folded it down, it actually meets up with the bottom. Now, if you think that you're good enough that you can just fold those down and not do the measuring and the scoring, you can do that. All right, so there's that. Now, this is our piece. This was the only piece that was the only part of it that I thought could be a little bit tricky. So for this, what she did is flipped it over so that the top was this is the top edge. And then this piece here with the two folded edges down, this long side is going to line right up with that first score line right there. Okay. Now we are going to put adhesive on just this piece here. I am going to use my liquid glue so that I can move it around if I need to. I did find while I was doing these that I did not need a lot of liquid glue at all. So this is just going to go here, line it right up. I know you guys probably can't see that. Let me zoom in again so you can see and move this up. So I'm lining this up with this first score line here and the tip of the piece, that point right at the top edge of my cardstock. So once that's adhered, this will actually line up with your top. Okay. Now the window sheet. The window sheet is going to be glued in here, but obviously you can't glue something that's square in something that's angled. So we're going to cut this window sheet at an angle. Just cut that corner right off, if you can see that. And we're going to put this right in here. So I'm going to put my seal. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put seal on both. So where that fold is, I've got seal on each side, but I want to be careful not to go past the point of where my window sheet is because you don't want adhesive over there. So you're just going to line that corner right up in there and press and fold that right over. And now you have that. Okay. Now when you flip this over, your window sheet is up to the top. That's what you want. Okay. Let me zoom back out. And let's grab this piece. Now we can start putting some of this together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over again just so that I can put adhesive on. I'm going to put adhesive just on this first 3/4 inch section on the end. But I'm going to put, now you could use tear and tape for this. You can use Seal Plus for it. You can use liquid glue. That's all fine. And then I'm going to take this part. So this is how it's bent here. And this is our card base here. And I'm just going to line this piece up with this bottom corner here. So lining up this side with the side and the bottom with the bottom, and then pressing. And then I am going to put adhesive, and we're going to put this side down. Now I've seen it, people do this a couple of different ways. You can squeeze it all up this way and put your adhesive, and do that. I wanted to make sure that it went flat and folded. So folded is how it's going to be in the envelope. This is your standard A2 size here. So this is how I want to make sure I glue it that way. So I'm going to put adhesive on this last section here, but I'm going to make sure that I don't go beyond this area. but I want to do the same thing I did. I want to put a couple rows there of adhesive. I want to make sure that I've got enough on there. Now I'm going to fold this piece up, line this up, make sure it's corner to corner, and then just press. So now that lines up well there. And now your little window sheet pops up like that. That's your little wiper. Isn't that cool? Love it, love it. Now this is where, because our embossing panel only goes to that far, this is what I did there. I put this piece of Designer Series paper here. So we're going to just glue that in place. That in there. Nice even border right down to the bottom there. So there is, and I know that summer splash is hard to see on the camera. Hello, Carissa, how are you? There. Okay. Oh, late is not a problem. All right, let's now get some coloring down. I'm going to set this card aside and we're going to do a little bit of stamping and coloring. So I'm just going to grab my big block so that we can do that one. And let's just grab this block for this one. And I'm going to grab, this one was big enough for that. Yep. With this is going to have a super, like this is a really cute card and stuff, but the element that I am going to put on the window sheet that pops up is really the cutesy part. All right, so press and hold. I'm not even on camera. Look at you. There. Okay. I didn't do that very well because I moved it. So we are going to flip it over and try again. Ink that up. I'm on the camera now. Yes. Okay. And press and hold it. Don't wiggle it. Don't rock it. You guys know that. There you go. And then we're going to stamp this image on here. Like so. Just press and hold it. Just helps that ink kind of sink into the cardstock. So now we're going to do some coloring. Okay. We're going to use alcohol markers, the alcohol markers. I'm going to do the roses. I am using, you don't have to use just one. You don't have to use just one color. So I'm using Petal Pink and this is Flirty Flamingo, right? Yes, Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to start with, on these roses, I'm going to start with my dark. I'm using the brush tip. And I'm just kind of coming in and outline. Now, people do this differently. I have seen people who prefer to start with the light and then come in with the dark and then come back in with the light again. Any which way you want, you can do that. And I'm not being real fussy. I'm just coming in, just touching all that up. I'll do that one after. So now I'm going to come in with my light and kind of blend that in a little bit. And this one you can just be a little bit you know, I'm just kind of coloring. I'm not going outside the lines or anything like that. I do still have a little bit of a harsh line here between the light and the dark, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to come in with the Petal Pink. And you can do more. You can come in with more, like really focus on those areas to blend them. Pulling that dark right into the petal. And this nice thing with the alcohol markers is you can go over this as many times as you want. As many times as you want. All right, now I'm going to come in with my petal pink, and I'm coming in with the dark petal pink, and I'm just going to kind of do the same thing I just did. What this is doing, this is more of a, I don't know, it's like a warm pink. It's almost like it has like a little orangey hue to it. So this is actually making my roses look a little orangey. Then let's just do this one too. Let's do the roses while we have these here. So let's do our, oops, not the bullet tip, Tina. I'm just going to come in here, outline this, and I'm just being really messy to the inside. Color these petals in, like so. And then come in with that petal pink and just do the same thing. Kind of blend that all in. Oops. And then we're going to do the same thing with the leaves. I am using my Summer Splash, which is more of a blue-green, and then I'm also using Shy Shamrock. So I'm going to come in with the, I want the dark, and I'm just doing like the middle, come in with the light. Do you guys like coloring? Do you, I know a lot of people really like coloring, just coloring. So any kind of coloring, alcohol markers, all of it. So then I'm just going to come in with my Shy Shamrock to give this, because it's got a blue-green hue to it. So I'm just going to come in and just kind of on one side, just give it a little bit of that green. That's it. Let's do the same thing here. Grab my dark. For this one, I'm just going to do that little center like that. Do all of those. And then come in here, kind of where I think it would be like dark or shaded, maybe hidden by the flower on the bottoms here. That. And we'll take our light. And just kind of filling in. It really, this one tends to blend really well. Like you don't really see that harsh line. And a few more here. Do you guys have this? Do you guys have this set in your stash yet? I hesitated at first because I have a lot of floral stamps, but I do love the floral stamps. And this one had, with the bundle, it had those die cuts that were really, the standalone, I like to call them the standalone ones, the ones that have like their own, you know, they just look like, oops, brush tip, they just look like really delicate die cuts. Like that, kind of coming in here. Just kind of on one side, giving it a little bit of green. Like so. So you can see a little bit there, like on the bigger leaves, the blue green. Yeah. Percy, you have it. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. All right, let's die cut these guys out. So we'll bring our die cut machine back in, and we need our number 1 base plate and number 2 thin die adapter, one of our number 3s, our cardstock, and let's get our dies out. So we need this one and this one. Now I am going to work that one around and put just a little piece of tape there to hold that. And then same with this one. This is probably the hardest part of the dies, is getting them to line up so that you have a nice even border around all of it. I will say I saw a really cool tip for dies if you don't want that white border around all of them, that you can actually just take like a black marker and color, just like 1/8 of an inch around your whole, and you just scribble it, just color it, just scribble. And then you end up with a black border around your image instead of a white border. So that was kind of cool. Do we want to do that? Why don't we do that with this one? Why don't we do that? Let's try it. Grab my black Stampin' Right, basic black Stampin' Right, and this is all they did. They just came around here, around the image. I don't know. If it doesn't come out, then that's all right. Like this. Well, it's funny. I saw the little tip to do it. Have you guys ever done this? Have you ever even heard of it? This, and like that. I have no idea how this is going to look, but we are going to try it. Almost there. So that's it. That's all they did, just colored black around it, and then line that back up again, like so. Put that tape there. We're going to leave that one the way it is so that we can see the difference between the two. And then we're just going to roll those through. All right, the moment of truth. All right, well, I don't love it. Now, maybe it's because there's still a little bit of white around it, and there's some white in here that I feel like probably, yeah. So I don't think I'm gonna end up using this guy because I don't love it, and that's all right. Maybe I'll use it for a different project though. Okay, that. So we have this guy. Come on. Yeah, I think that looks better with a white. I just think it looks better with the white. And maybe that tip would be better with a different image, but doesn't work well with this one. All right, so unless you were putting it on black, I suppose if you were putting this on black, you could just finish this out by putting, because I have there's some white left here and here, you know, and you could put this on maybe a black cardstock or something. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know. Yeah, I prefer the white too. All right. All right, we can chalk that we can all chalk that tip up as a no. All right, so this, we're going to bring our card back, and this is going to go right here. I'm going to put this flower here. Now you do want to be careful where you're placing this. So remember, your card is going to be folded down like this flat. So you don't want this to extend past the edge here, even though when it's open, it's fine. When it's closed, which is how it will go in the envelope, unless you could make, you know, a custom envelope for this, for sure. But you want to make sure that you're closed up before you put your image on. And we are going to, I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals, because I don't know, is a card even really a card without dimensionals these days? I don't know. So here, here, and here. I think I'm just going to put one more right in there, just for good measure. I'm going to put that, make sure none of our dimensionals are above this 2.5 inch piece, because you don't want to stick your card base down. So we have that, and we have this little thing popping up. All right, now for the fun. Let me grab it. Okay, I've already cut these pieces, but I wanted to show you. So on the last chance, meant to be, this bundle is on the last chance. So the dies and the stamp set. Super cute. I like this. I don't know. Maybe because it's not spring anymore, summer, I don't know, but it is. So this was, oh, maybe, Sherry, maybe that's right. Maybe they were doing that for, I saw it when you were doing, when they were doing die cutting, but it certainly would be better if you were doing fussy cutting. You could make it look better than that, I'm sure. Okay, so we're going to put a little bee on here. So I used my bee builder punch, which is not, this one is still available. I used my bee builder punch and to get the 3 different pieces out. Then I used this die here. Now I could have used all of these dies, but I wanted this little heart, and I didn't want, like, there's only just one little heart in here. So this is what I wanted. So I just went with this, but then I cut out some antenna, and I also did a couple of wings this way. So let's put this bee together. And this is not your regular bee. This is art. So our bee is going to look however we want him to look. So I did this over there. Grab them. So these are all of our pieces. So our bee is going to be black. And I am going to zoom in a little bit. Let me just zoom in. All right. So we're going to have a black bee, and he's going to have silver antenna, and he's going to have a little silver heart. And this is where I originally was thinking, so this is with the bee builder punch. You just put the 2 wings like this. And this is cute, but I thought, why don't we step it up a notch and put these on the wings and give them more of a dimensional look. So this is how I'm going to do these wings. I have found the easiest way to put for adhesive for the gold or the silver foil paper is the glue dots. So grab some glue dots here, and I'm just gonna, it's just easier for me to pick them up with my tweezers here and here and here, and I'll do the same thing on this one. There. Okay. And then I'm going to adhere these to the silver hearts. Just like this. And it's okay if some of that glue, like that glue dot is showing right there, that's okay, because this is going to be behind him anyway. Because these are going to go, we're going to glue these to the back of him. So here, oops, take these off. Like that. Aren't those wings super cute? I love them. Then we're going to put some glue dots here. And I like to, just because it's 2 layers, I'm going to put the 3 there so that there's one on each one of the outside edges of this wing, and then one on the actual heart. There, and one more there. Okay. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the antenna are probably a little bit small for this size B, but we're going to do it anyway. Peel all of those backings off. These backings, these glue dots were just extras from a kit, but I really like them. Okay, so now I'm going to put this at a little bit of an angle. We're going to angle his wings up a little bit like that. And then this one like that. Let's do, I don't know, those look like they're a little bit, maybe a little bit too small. We'll see. Come on. Oh my goodness. Guy doesn't want to let go. Okay, so let's just line those up. Put his antenna on there, like so. And then we're going to put the heart on. Now, with the heart, I thought we would just pop that up on a mini dimensional. Oh, there, and we'll put that just like that. There is our cute little bee. Now let me zoom out. All right. Now we're going to put our bee on this window sheet. I will say this. I struggled with this a little bit because when it's on the window sheet, it's a wiper card, so it's going to wipe down. When it wipes down, you need to make sure that it does not hit this, or it won't, it'll get stuck and it won't come back up. So what I did with this is I kind of closed it a little bit so that I could see where that landed, and then I kind of placed this guy in here so that I could see, as it's opening, I can see where his wings are going to hit so that I could tell where I needed to put it. And even after that, I will say, even after that, I still had to play around with it a little bit to get it to actually, stay and not get stuck and whatever. So I did have to play around with them a little bit. So you would have to do that for yours also. It really depends on what the image is that you're putting on your wiper. Now, I found that once I had an idea of where he needed to be positioned on the window sheet, the acetate, I felt like it was easiest to kind of hold this down, not completely flat, but hold it down so that I can see that window sheet, and then place this guy on there. And I'm just doing a very light tack so that I can make sure that he goes down and comes back up again. And I can also see from the top, I don't know if you guys can actually see it, you can see that I still have probably an eighth of an inch that I could move him if I needed to or wanted to. And I think that I will do that. So I'm just going to pull him up just a bit, tack him lightly, and do the same thing. Just do a little. And now I'm going to tack him. Tack, tack. Now, you could put this element on before you put this element on. Because of what it is, I wanted to see how the bee was going to land on the flower. This is the other thing that you want to be real conscious of is where you position him. So I need to move him a little bit because he's poking out when the card is completely flat. So I need to just move him a little bit, and that's all right. I'm just going to pull him over just a little bit there. And there. And there. There. So your bee pops right up. Oh, boom. I love it. I love it. I have a couple of alternates to show you. Where are we at with time? Oh, okay. Yeah. I got time to show you the alternates, and I will actually even show you the paper pumpkin cards that I made. So let's just move this stuff out of the way. That's the one we just made. Cute. This is the other one that I made. So it's just like this. I did add the other little flower because, I didn't mess it up with the black. So this, and then the bee pops up. For this one, I did the bee in the same Flirty Flamingo here. I used the exposed brick embossing folder here. I don't remember this designer series paper. It's the one with the bird, Flight and Airy maybe. But I did, let me just see if I can grab my tweezers, point this out. So I did the wings actually in vellum. So I did one heart in white and one heart in vellum. And then all I did for the heart itself is I just actually sponged or blended with my blending brush. I just blended some Flirty Flamingo right on top of the Flirty Flamingo cardstock. So that one. And he pops up too. And then this is the one that I did with the paper pumpkin. It just says, hello, friend. And then, boom, just an extra strawberry pops up. And this, I put this on. So this is actually it's tacked right onto that last 3/4 inch section like this. Yay, cute, cute, cute. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, thank you, Roberta. Thank you. This one, so this one I had kind of a weird play. I used the plaster 3D embossing folder for the back. And the problem that I had with this one is that the piece that was popping up kept actually catching on that. So I used the Extraordinary Flora, and this one pops up. Now, this one, I made this a little bit, I think this is the same, but I had a little extra piece that I had cut off of there. So I put a piece up at the top so that I could hold this half flower wreath. Now, my idea with this one was that when this popped up, that the flowers on here would complete the wreath. So I just need to add a couple more flowers up here on that, and I'll be happy with that one. So there's that one. Cool, cool. So those are the 3 alternates I have, like that. Cool. And very easy. I don't know. I have been wanting to do this wiper card. I've been seeing a lot of people do it and wanted to. So there they are. All right, let me just show you what I have for paper pumpkin cards so far. So I did this one. This is very similar to what they had on the instructions anyway, as far as the color and the elements. But this is my my original diagonal open front card. The cards I made were more horizontal, but this one said it needed to be vertical. So there's that one. And then I did another one with that same cut, that same diagonal open front. This one I embossed the this is fresh freesia. So I embossed the fresh freesia. This is the Spotlight on Nature dies, but then I did a circle die on the inside, so it's more of a frame. And then I took a little piece of Designer Series paper, cut, you know, a circle, and then cut it in half, and then kind of folded it so that it looks like a little bouquet of flowers. So that's that one. And then I did, let me see, this one here. Actually, let me just show you this one. So this one, to keep on this color scheme on the fresh freesia, I did this one on a window sheet so that it looks like it's floating. And then for this one, because I wanted to hide the adhesive on the back of the white Spotlight on Nature, I just cut one exactly like it in the fresh freesia and put it on the back so it hides all of that. But isn't that stinking cute? Love it. Love it. And then this one here, which I still have to put a white piece on the inside, but this is just using, this is actually a tag that I cut in half so that it looks much longer because it's behind a red circle. But then this one, I put those little, the just clear dots. So it almost looks like dew. So I put that, so there's that one. And I did, this is the circle that I cut out of this card here. And I layered that on the Timid Tiger. And for this strawberry, this is one of those pink strawberries, I sponged a little bit of the Poppy Parade on it, put a little bit of Wink of Stella, and I did a little bit of early espresso around the sides, and used that dotted circles. Love that. Love the dotted circles. So another dotted circles one, this one here. For this one, I used the negative space that was the for the strawberry container. I used the negative space and made, you know, just sponged one on the tag, stamped thank you, and then from the Impressions of Bloom, used just the dies to cut out of some of the paper. Like this one, you can't really tell, but this flower was cut out of the strawberry paper, this paper here. And then I just made a little pick, looks like it's in the flower pot, that says you're the best, thank you. That's on Lemon Lolly. And then we have, let me see, this one, which is another one of the open, you know, the half open cards, the missing front cards. People call them all kinds of different ones, different things. So, hey, thank you. And this one has the embossed panels on the bottom there. So there's that one. And then I did this one here. So this just is Pool Party. I used the corrugated embossing folder here, little piece of vellum behind the tag, stamped the thank you in the Poppy Parade. And one of the biggest tips that I mean, I think I would have figured this one out anyway, but one of the biggest tips was in that Facebook group is that the strawberries needed to be at the bottom of the container. So all you do is cut those strawberries right in half, glue the bottom halves down at the bottom of the container and top halves up here. And no one will ever know unless you tell them, like I just did. Is this one. Kind of on the same idea of this one. I stamped in the Poppy Parade right on that vellum piece, right on the vellum. This is actually two of the same tags I put together. They're split right here, right where the strawberries are, so you can't see the split. But that's on basic white with that corrugated. So there's that one. And I did this one where I cut out the with that meant to be dies. Life is sweeter with you. I did the same blending on that pink strawberry. And then I took this white dots. That's actually from the Notes and Totes stamp set with just some white ink. And then this one opens like this. I do have to figure out something for the back of this because I don't like the way you can see like the glue dots and stuff there. So, but I liked that was a little floating strawberry in there. And then the obligatory chocolate covered strawberries on this card. Now this one is kind of cool. This one actually has a little open here. So this one I was kind of trying to do my open front here, and when I cut it, I cut this way, and I went, oh darn, I cut it the wrong way. I can't put that up this way. So I just put I flipped the cutout piece the other way, put it up there. It's hidden by this design that, this is actually the card base, one of the card bases. But yeah, so it opens like that. Stands for display. Love it, love it. So that's what I have so far. You guys have seen them before anybody else. Yay, yay. All right, I am going to go ahead and flip the camera back to me so I can say goodbye. Where is that button? Button. Who's got the button? Here I am. Yay. So I hope that you guys liked this card. I hope that I made it, seem like it's a little bit easier to make than maybe you think it is, or thought it was. It's really not hard. But it did take some, depending on the element that you put there, it did take a little bit of figuring out what, the position of your element on the window sheet to make sure that it doesn't get stuck when you're opening and closing the card. So you do want to make sure that you open and close the card a couple of times to make sure it's not going to get stuck. Also learn that lesson from me and don't use a really deep embossing folder for that back because your element will kind of get stuck on it when it comes back up. So yeah, so I'm glad that you all joined me. Thank you so much for joining me. I will have the project sheet done hopefully today. I'll have the project sheet done and posted in the description of this video. But as always, you can find those links in the description of the video to follow me over on Facebook at The Tatted Stamper. And, I hope that I have inspired you to make cards and make your own cards and, yeah, be creative. So I will be back next Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with another card and hopefully some more cards from this kit. Yeah, so I hope you all have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it is going to be a good weather, good for you to get outside and get some fresh air. And I will see you all next week.